What's that old swing era song, Undecided? First you say you do and then you don't. First you say you will and then you won't. Well, it'd be nice for people concerned about their liberty if Joe Biden would stop flipping like a flapjack over his constantly changing desire to impose mask mandates on the United States. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Well, these are flips that even the legendary comedian Flip Wilson could have appreciated.
Thanks, y'all.
Of course, they aren't funny, and they're much more dangerous and educational than typical political flips are as well. As part of his August push to utilize unwarranted fear over COVID-19 to gain political points, Joe Biden blurted out his desire to issue a national mask mandate. As Breitbart's Kyle Olson reported on August 20th, last week, Biden called for mask wearing while Americans are outside. Let's institute a mask mandate nationwide, he said. Every single American should be wearing a mask when they're outside for the next 3 months at a minimum. Which brings us to the quick flip-flop Biden and Harris exercise, something that came shortly after Biden yodeled his first mask mandate idea, and folks at the virtual Democrat National Convention applauded on their sustainable Zoom split screens. Perhaps realizing there was a vestige of constitutional awareness among some portion of Americans, Kamala Harris soon tried to wipe away the mandate language in early September, saying it was just an idea for a national standard. And now the pair have changed course again, this time displaying not only an uncanny Orwellian ability to disregard previous statements and to label as attackers those who might remind the public of those months-old facts, but also revealing a dark and dangerous approach to federal strong-arm tactics. Projecting the apocalyptic overtones of a dark winter unless the federal government under the next president engages in massive federal crackdowns, spending, and propaganda, Biden once more seems eager to impose a national mask mandate. In a painfully gushing piece for the New York Times, Cheryl Gay Stolberg explains that Biden appears to have realized that he can't simply mandate masks on American civilians by employing the already misused executive order. And this is where we can see a couple of the most egregious ways in which the original constitutional system of confederation has been attacked. Quote, Mr. Biden has already said that, as president, he would mandate masks on all federal property, an executive order that could have wide reach. He could use his authority under federal transit law to require masks on public transportation. He could also prod governors who are resisting mask mandates to at least require masks in public buildings in their states. And based on U.S. history, he could attempt to do a heck of a lot more. How could he prod the governors to do something like this? The same way numerous executive tyrants and the congressional oligarchy have done for decades. Threaten to withhold federal grants and other spending unless state governments comply. The cash ranges from educational funds to highway funds to environmental funds to Medicare cash and dozens of pork handouts in between. And not one is constitutionally valid according to the original wording of the enumerated powers. There's even talk that Biden might go so far as to mandate mask wearing for riders on the federal boondoggle of Amtrak and drivers on the interstate highway system. And this not only reveals the vast and deep ocean of problems presented when a federal government backed by virtually limitless, valueless central bank notes can shower spending on state politicians and special interests and then withhold the addicted juice when the addicts won't comply. It presents a problem as far as Supreme Court precedent is concerned. As constitutional researchers know, there's a term in American jurisprudence called unconstitutional conditions. It goes back to the 1800s and generally holds that no government can require a person to cede constitutionally protected rights as a condition of receiving a government benefit. This makes sense, of course, especially if the governments can claim that in virtually every aspect of our lives, from road control to food protection, so-called, to telecommunication control, to sundry other spheres, they use their tax and pork sorcery to supposedly give us things we could and would handle much better if left to voluntarily decide what we wanted to have or not have, and to what degree within the free market. A recent federal appeals court ruling also sees a similar set of hurdles when it comes to withholding federal funds going to states should the states not comply with Biden's potential mask mandate. As Tom Howell Jr. recalls for the Washington Times, for instance, it would be difficult for Biden's administration to threaten states or localities with a loss of funding for refusing to institute a mask mandate. According to Mr. Blackman, Josh Blackman, a law professor at South Texas College of Law, a federal appeals court this year ruled against Mr. Trump's, that's the president of course, push to withhold federal funds from sanctuary cities that don't cooperate with federal immigration enforcement, end quote. So the climb might be steep for Biden, but the lessons offered to us are great, regardless of what the future holds. And this is why it's so important to read beyond the headlines that the pop media provide. By looking into the actual wording of the Constitution, seeing how the Bill of Rights is supposed to protect us to be able to freely assemble and not be arbitrarily punished for not wearing a mask, and by seeing that there's no power granted to the feds to hand out cash for all of these pork programs, we can see how far afield the American system has wandered. And maybe, just maybe, we can tell others and help get it back on some path that is closer to the original that was designed. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Remember, if you're on YouTube, I'll see you in the comments. Please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell because it's supposed to tell you when new videos appear. Please share these with as many people as you can. That is awesome. Do it in social media. Send out the links in emails. Show them to friends. Anything you can. Ask people to subscribe. We'll see you at MRCTV.org. And if you want some great items, just head over to MRC-Store. You'll see some amazing, great things. And if you get the opportunity, check us out on Instagram. We'll see you on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter at Gard Goldsmith. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.